Morris, and this is a beautiful morning where I am by the time of recording this.
Good afternoon, or good morning, or good day, wherever you are watching me from. My name is Moses Kimari.
If you're seeing me for the first time, hi, my name is Terryn Wangui, and I'll be your host in this channel and in this podcast and our future podcast. Hello, my loves. Welcome to another video. So, fortunately or unfortunately, today is not a vlog. Today is the birth of something that I've been procrastinating for 1 year and a few months. So, today is the birth of something that I desired to have for a long time, and I gave it a name like 1 year and a few months ago. And today is the birth of my Find Me podcast. Hear me out. So around or approximately 1 year and like let's say like 5 months ago, I came up with a name. I had this desire to have a podcast because when I started listening to podcasts, I was going through a lot in life, and I started healing the moment I started listening to podcasts because we all know podcasting is a way of like listening to people's flow of thoughts and learning a lot through people. So I had this desire because I know I love talking a lot. I used to create vlogs and by the time I'm editing, I realize a vlog is almost 40 minutes. It's a sit down vlog, and then I realize a vlog is like 40 minutes. And whenever I was listening to podcast, I realized this could be something much more than just a vlog. This could be something that I could like give my flow of thoughts and also my real life experiences, and I would also even bring people to the channel and we learn from each other because the aim of this channel is documenting, yes, and growth, and also learning new things or growing through experiences, through our real life experiences and other people's experiences. So I had this desire to have a podcast, and the reason why I've been procrastinating this is because back then, I was living in this studio apartment, not even my last studio, my second last studio apartment, and I wanted a place where I would have like a studio in my house or somewhere like I could have a setup of my podcast, and I would be able, like, you see, like an office or an environment where you can be able to have that flow of thoughts and be able to actually talk about them. So what I did first, I came up with a name. It was not easy. Actually, it was not easy. I had the idea of the podcast, but I didn't know what I would call the podcast. And then I have been living alone for the longest time. So during my alone time, that's when like so many things happen. Like for example, today, like I'm shooting this on a Sunday evening. Normally on my Sunday evenings, I like to chill. I like to relax. Most of the time, like in my previous house, I used to go for like evening walks, just to like clear my head and also like be able to meditate and like have new things. You know when you go out there, you like distract yourself from yourself. So I used to go out and have this. Also, my previous house used to have this large window where like right now I would be having like a very good sense. I don't know why I didn't start my podcast back then. I used to have this very large window, and I'd see like my house was like directly connected to nature, to the environment, like to the surroundings, and I used to have a very beautiful view over there. I don't know why I'm just starting this now, but that window would have been my office. I don't know why I'm just realizing this now. So my idea of this podcast was to have somewhere where, yeah, I can talk to you guys, and I can also have a few people come here. So today we will be having a guest. They'll be our virtual guests. They will be telling us things about themselves. But before anything else, guys, welcome to FM Podcast. FM Podcast is Find Me Podcast, and the whole reason of having this podcast is for us like I said, for us to give our flow of thoughts. Like us, like something who's alone, like myself. Uh, when I'm alone, like a lot of things are happening in my head, like my journey from being in a position where I couldn't like be on myself, like live alone, to where I am like 100% comfortable living alone and actually enjoying my alone company. So this is something that I have, like it's a journey for myself. So this FM podcast is it was it was given by, I don't know how to say this, but from my moments of being alone is when this podcast was born. So we are just actualizing it right now, but it was born like 1 year and a few months ago. So I hope you're going to show me all the love in this podcast. Please subscribe to this channel. If you're seeing me for the first time, hi, my name is Terry Wangui, and I'll be your host in this channel and in this podcast and our future podcast. I'm a content creator. I love content creation. I love documenting so much. I am also employed. I am someone who is trying to find myself, and I can only do this through doing what I love most, which is documenting. And I'm someone who loves, if I'm going through something, I love talking it out, or I love people knowing what I'm going through at the moment, because that allows me to heal. If no one is listening to me at the moment, or if I'm alone in the house, I can even talk out loud things that I'm actually going through, and that helps me heal. So I decided, why don't I have a place where I can actually have an audience, or people who can actually listen to my flow of thoughts, and we can have like an interaction. We can talk. We can share experiences. We can motivate each other. We can grow. And initially, I wanted to have like a whole new channel for this podcast, but then I realized it would be a very long journey starting afresh, which is something that we'll do eventually. I don't know, should we have like a podcast, like a channel for a podcast? Because that's something I really wanted. Or should we just like grow this platform and then later on like move to like a new house, which is a new channel? But for now, we are going to have our episodes right here. And in this channel, no, sorry, I'm used to vlogging, guys. I know I love talking, but I'm used to the channel and not the podcast. So I only thought it would be like better if I told you about myself first, and my journey of finding myself, so that you can get familiar with the person you're interacting with at the moment, which is me. So my journey to this place, I was just reflecting a moment ago, a few minutes before I decided to actually start this podcast. I was reflecting on my journey, especially my journey of living alone, and my journey of actually being alone. I don't know if you understand this, a difference between lonely and being alone. Being lonely is like there's some void in yourself, but being alone is like being not content, being able to being comfortable with yourself, like your alone self, like not sorry, being comfortable with yourself alone. There's a difference. So but before we get there, I am someone who I am turning 28 years old in 2 months, and I don't know how I'm feeling about all this. And the way I started this because my friends already came through for me, for myself. My friends already came through for me like a month ago. They gave me, I asked a few friends of mine to give me like experiences of themselves in this journey. People like I know like deep down, like I know them from way back, if not way back. I know the experiences. And fortunately, today we are going to be having two of them on board, and they will be discussing with us a few things that how they're here, like their journey from where like I've known them from to right now. Something I find encouraging. These are okay. The ones who are on board today are people who I am motivated by them so much. So I sent this text to them, and because one of them is not in Kenya, I sent this text and I asked them to be part of this. It was a vlog. Initially, it was a vlog. It was not even a podcast. So I asked them to be in this journey with me, not knowing that I was going to do this as a podcast. I was doing this video because I am close to 30. I was doing this video where I was reflecting on the things that I've been able to accomplish or the challenges that I've had to this point. And then I came up with this vlog idea where I actually wanted to do something like things I've achieved before 30 or close to that. I don't actually remember the correct title that I had, but I had something close to that. And funny enough, I'm the not no no actually, one of them is almost my age or a few years, maybe 1 or 2 years older, but the other one is a bit much older than me. So I wanted some differences and similarities, but unfortunately I didn't get the responses in time. That's why we're going to be having two of them today, and they're going to be telling us their life experiences and what drives them, things that motivate them. But the aim of this video was to motivate someone out there who maybe is going through. I hope through this video you can be able to have that motivation to like push through and not to give up, and to have like some certain kind of motivation or some certain kind of drive to not give up and to continue pressing. So I grew up in different places, in different counties, different regions back then. I have been I've interacted with different people across the counties. Around like 2007, I relocated from Nyeri. 2007 for Kenyans. It was about that post-election violence. It was about that time when Kenya was in this. There was violence in Kenya. I think we haven't had such kind of post-election violence ever since 2007. So around that time, I relocated from Nyeri to Machakos County, and I was just talking to my friend the other day, actually yesterday, and I was so naive. I was so naive that I was kamshamba somehow because I was very bright in school, but I hadn't experienced the world. Like for example, when I was in Yeri, that was like in class 4 or 5. I was so bright. Actually, I used to become number one all the time. I was very bright, very bright. And one day, my mom was very sick, like for like 5 months. She was admitted in hospital for like 5 to 6 months. And around that time, in my aunt came for me. Now the aunt who was living in Machakos came for me, and I started living with her in Machakos County. And I was telling my friend the other day about my journey between Nyeri and Machakos County. I had never been out of Nyeri, like ever, ever. I was not born in Nyeri, but I grew up in Nyeri. I I found out, okay, the moment like you realize yourself, I was born in, yeah, okay, my mom told me I was born in Bungoma County, but then relocated to Nyeri when I was still young because my dad is from Nyeri. And so I had never gone out of Nyeri. I was young. I was five. I was in class five, like around 10, 11 years old. So the journey between like Nairobi, Nyeri and Machakos, that's when I realized I actually didn't know anything about life. I remember I was with my aunt, my uncle, and my cousin, like my aunt's first one. They had just come from home where like my mom was like discharged from hospital for after like 5 months, and we were doing like a fundraising of the hospital bill because it was too much. And then my mom told my aunt, I want you to come for the fundraising. Don't just contribute the money. I want you to come in person because I'm the firstborn in my family. So my mom wanted to give me something different. I think she really believed there was so much about me and I wouldn't get. I think she had a vision about myself, and she knew that for me to become the person that she would see, like she would visualize, I had to be exposed to the world. So she told my aunt, you are going to come for her and she's going to be living with you. And my mom had to concentrate on my brother and my sister, my two other siblings. And when my okay, I was telling you through that now through that journey between Nyeri and Nairobi is the first time while in the matatu I had someone talking something similar to Kikuyu. I only knew like my local language and no other language. Mind you, I was very bright in school. We used to learn about other tribes, but I didn't know that they actually existed. I didn't know they were actually such kind of people. I don't know. I was not exposed to the world, so I wouldn't tell when someone is speaking in Kisi, when someone is speaking in their Luya language. I wouldn't tell you this is a Luo because I had never interacted with other communities apart from my community. So when I relocated now to Machakos County, and on the way, I would hear people talking something similar to Kikuyu, but this is not Kikuyu. So, which language is this? And we finally arrived at my aunt's place, and she told me now this is Machakos County, and the community that lives here are Kambas. And the reason why you can understand some of the things they're saying is because they are not far from our tribe. And that was my first moment realizing that there are other community. And mind you, I was like 11 years old. So the reason I'm telling you this story is to get you guys to understand to the point where I am starting to find myself. So I am 11 years old. I don't know anything of the world. I get exposed now to another community. Now I join a school in this community where now they're not just the Kamba community, they are people from all over. I joined this school that was sponsored by people from I don't remember what. Okay, they were sponsored by the Wazungus, the white people. So it was a children's home that had a school. Now that's the school where I started schooling. And for the first time, I started interacting with people from other tribes. Now I started hearing languages that I don't actually understand. You see, for Kamba, those are Bantus. Like I can understand most of the things that they are saying. But for other tribes, like the Nilotes, I couldn't understand anything. So I'm a fast learner. That is something that I have to credit myself for. I learn very fast, and I started to like actualize things that I knew, but I didn't know I knew. You see? So I started knowing that there are other things happening in the world. Like my mind started opening to the world. So I went to a primary school that had so many tribes. I went to a high school in the same county that has so many tribes. I went to college now to a different county, Kiambu County, that has people from all over the world. We even had whites in school. In the That was different because the school was actually it's actually owned by sorry. I can't remember very well, but ni Wahindi, like they are Hindus. They were the one of the college that I went to. I went to a private college, and so yeah, that's the journey. So I was bring the aim of this podcast is to bring you to the moment where I started finding myself, and now in college is now the moment I actually first dated in college, guys. My first time I dated, I was like 18 years old. That's the first time I had a that's the first time I had a boyfriend, and I still felt that it was illegal to have a boyfriend. But I'll never forget this guy from Mount Kenya University. He he was my first boyfriend. He was like very brown, like very light, and I you see the color of my skin, and the first time I fell in love with a person or someone fell in love with me, I didn't even understand what was happening. I didn't even know like that was something that I was willing to you see, I lived with my aunt for over a decade, and during that time, my aunt is was a strict person. Like my aunt is the true definition of an African mom, and you can imagine, I was almost like all the time I was like grounded, all the time like grounded. And so for the first time, I have joined college. After my high school, I went back to Nyeri. I started living with my mom again, and that's when I joined college. Like after like after like 5 months, not 5 months. I completed my high school in November 2014, and I joined college in September 2015. So that's close to like 10 months, approximately 10 months. I was just okay. For the second time, I was released to the world, but this time I'm alone. No one is grounding me, no one is looking after me. Like, one thing I love about my mom will never ground you. Like, she will let you go. She'll trust you enough to do the right thing. And that's something I love about my mom. I'm not saying being grounded was wrong. It was actually very good for me to be grounded at that age because I was still young, and I was actually very young and I needed to be grounded. But even the moment that I was given the freedom to go out there and do things on my own, it was actually the right time to be given my freedom now to be exposed to the world. And that's where life begins. Because my college life was, I wouldn't say it was bad. I wouldn't say it was that good. It was challenging, yes, in so many ways. I think I've had I've done this story somewhere, but maybe not into details. But my college life was it was fun. It was a roller coaster. Yes, I discovered myself in so many ways. It was in my first okay. It was the first time I realized that I could do something for myself because I'm the firstborn. Remember, and now I've gone to a private school. It's a medical school. It's a college. So, and I'm raised by a single. Okay, now I'm being raised by a single mom. I've always been raised by a single man, by a single mom. Apart from the moment when I lived with my aunt and my uncle and my cousin. So I had like that was the only time I had like something close to a complete family setup. The other time when I'm living with my mom is a single mom, so I am like sort of like I feel like I feel the urge not to I don't know, not to like stress her so much that I just want to do things. You know, like you're in a college, a medical school, and it's a private, and school fees, and you are you're learning like you're learning full time. There's no like long holidays and what have you, and you only have the mom who I don't believe by then the work she was doing was enough. Like she was being paid enough to like cover for my school fees because it was a journey. It was a journey, something that I'll talk some other times. But I have joined college. I have a boyfriend. I started working to like start paying for my. I actually used to pay my own rent back then because my school fees was a lot of money, and it was only cheaper to start living in to have accommodation outside school because like the hostels were really expensive. It's something that I couldn't even afford. So I started living outside. I remember my first house. It was a single room and I was paying 1,500. Is that $15? I was paying 1,500. It was a single room. I remember I've come from far. It was a single room. And so I went to college for like 3 years, then relocated now to Nairobi. I'm getting closer to the city. I relocated now from Nairobi, from Thika to now close to close to the city because I later joined Nairobi National Museums for my internship, and I think I lasted there for several months. My 4 months of attachment and a few months of internship, and after that, I think things went south. I relocated like from living in Thika, which was like my house was like 1,500, and it was a good house, to living now in Nairobi from 1,500 rent to 4,000 rent. Now this 4,000 is a Mabati house. It's not even close to whatever I used to have in Thika when I was in school. It's like now like life is getting worse. You see, and I did my okay. I enjoyed my time at the museums, but it's only the other day I was thinking. I felt like if life wasn't going like so fast, I would have okay, if I had like the right support at that moment, like that's the moment I really needed like the right support, I would have done my internship in at the museum for a bit much longer, and by now I think I would be someone different from whoever I am today or whatever I do today. But again, I am at a stage in my life where I don't have any regrets to anything that I have gone I've had to come I have had to go through because every step that I have had to make, I feel like it was supposed to happen that way because I wouldn't be the person I am today, I am right now, if that didn't happen back then. So I moved to now another house that is 4,000, which is like $40, and is a bit it's not even a bit expensive. It's very expensive for me, but now I'm living with a friend of mine. But a few months later, we complete our internship and our attachment at the museums, and now the friend leaves, and I'm left alone. And now that's when like life starts to become like extremely challenging or extremely hard. Uh, we leave the museum, I graduate, and after graduation, now you can't go back to the museum unless you're going to be a volunteer there. Remember, you have like bills you have to pay, and you're all alone. If I can't really explain what happened between my graduation and now living alone. I don't really understand what was happening at that time, but a lot was happening to me and a lot was happening at home. So I had no option of going back home, and I had no option of like living maybe with friends or relatives. So I drop out of now the museum because if you're a volunteer, you're not getting paid. If you're not getting paid, then you don't know how to pay the bills. And if you don't pay the bills, you're not going to survive in Nairobi. So this is the moment where I abandoned my career, which I loved so much. I loved and I enjoyed being in the lab. I don't know how to explain this. I loved being in the lab and I loved my career to a point that I can even tell you, like, right now, I have everything, like everything I used to have back in school. I have my books, I have everything. You know, I am that person who still believes that at some point when things become like less tough, I can be able to go back to school and maybe further my studies based on the things that I went to school to study, or based on the things that I used to love. But then at some point, that is something that I actually want to do. That is something that I actually want to understand. Not to understand, that I actually want to achieve. But I put my career on hold, and now I start doing jobs. Now that jobs to sustain myself. And I remember the first thing I did, or the first thing I ever did, was becoming an actress. So I am actually laughing at myself because I have just lost a footage, and it's so painful. It's so painful because can you believe, guys? I've been talking for 24 minutes, and 24 minutes are gone, and I have decided to keep this raw unedited because that was painful. That was painful. I have just finished making my podcast, or making this video, and then I realized, like, the last three sections, they have no sound, yet I have my mic. I'm pressing my fingers. Actually, I'm going to invest a lot. I'm going to invest a lot on this podcast because we are not giving up. We are going to. I don't mind if you're going to give the stories over and over again, but I am so motivated today to make sure this thing comes to fruition. So I was actually laughing at myself because I was telling you about how I have put my career on hold and I have decided to become an actress. And I'm not becoming an actress by choice. I'm becoming an actress by it was not a choice. Like, it was there was no choice. I didn't have another choice. That was the most available thing that the most available opportunity that came to my plate, and it's something that I felt that I could do, and I decided I can do this. I usually have one rule in life where I tell myself I can do anything. If I want to do anything, like, I can do anything because I have the willingness to learn new things. I am one person and I so much believe in myself that I can be able to thrive in any career, any field. I can be able to thrive in so many places because I'm always willing to learn new things. So I become an actress, and for the first time I wrote a script. I remember, like, the clip that I've just lost. I was telling you guys that whenever you see this book in my videos, this is a book that I've had for close to 5 years right now. Not 5 years. I have had this book for 7 years. I've had this book since 2019. Yeah, that's close to 7 years. Yeah, that's close to 7 years. And so this book, I used to, when I started acting, the first thing I ever tried was not even acting. I wrote a script, and the script got aired on a national television, and that was the biggest thing that I did after school. Like, that was so big for me. While I was at school, I used to love literature so much. I enjoyed literature. My principal was my English teacher, and she used to love me so much because of how I was so passionate about literature. I enjoyed reading, I enjoyed writing, I enjoyed communicating through writing, and now for the first time, I have a chance to express myself through writing. I was not at the right, my headspace was not at the, okay, I didn't have that motivation to write, but I had motivation to make money. So I used that motivation to write my first ever script that got aired on a national television. But the script was acted. It was produced in my local language, which is Kikuyu, but I wrote it in English. I'm not proficient in writing in my native language, but I can write in English very well. So for the first time, I have had someone give me a chance to express my prowess in writing, or someone who just believed in me, and she believed in this young girl who can have a story to tell. And I never for once believed that I could be an actress, but whenever I find myself in different fields in life, whether I'm making money or I'm just having fun with it, I like to position myself, or I'd like to, like, when you give me a certain job, I own the job, I embrace the job, and I become the job, and I become good at it in a way that even if it was not like the first thing that I was good at, or it was not something that I went to school for, I'll actually own the job, and I'll become like so much good in it. And that is how I love to do my job. Like, I love falling in love with things that maybe they are giving me money, or things that I maybe initially loved, or things that are exciting, things that I feel like I can in short, I can survive in any situation, and I'll have fun while at it. I my first video is actually going live on air. I call my mom, and she's so proud of myself. I tell her, "Mom, I did this thing, this and this, and I have this movie, and it's going to air today at 10 p.m." And my mom actually bought credit for like 100 bob, and called all her friends and told them that my girl is going to be on TV. Like, my daughter is going to be on TV today, and you're not allowed to sleep before 10 p.m. because my daughter will be on TV today. And she was so proud. She was so proud of me because I felt like she was so proud because she let me go out there in the world and explore. And I didn't disappoint her. And it's so important to have a covenant with your parents, and decide to agree on things. Like, me and my mom, we had a covenant back in 2015, and I promised her, like, one day I'll make you proud, and I'm going to make you proud in 3 ways: that I'm not going to drop out of school, I am going to come back home with a gown, and I would really love for you to see me in another gown which is white in color. And she never forgets. I remember when she came for my graduation in 2018. The first time she saw me in the gown, like, there were so many of them. Like, she had a whole bus come to see me, like, come to get me to school after my graduation. And the moment she saw me, everyone else was happy, but my mom was emotional. Like, she was emotional, like, she was crying. She was literally crying. So the moment she saw me, she started crying and she told me, "You promised me this 3 years ago and you've actually did it, and I'm so proud of you. And for the other things that you want to accomplish in life, I hope and I believe that you're going to accomplish them, because I see whatever you put in mind, or whatever you say you want to do, you actually put in the effort and make sure that you get it." So my mom was so proud of me, and this gave me so much motivation. But then I've graduated, and you graduate and there are no jobs ready for you, so I can't go back to the museum, because if I go there then I'll have to volunteer. So acting was the best thing that I could do at the moment. After acting, I went back home. I got a government job, and that was the first time. I think the job, it was during the Huduma number registration. It was nationwide, and my mom actually got me the job, and this is the first time I got like actual money. Like I touched a lot of money like within a short time. And this is the first time I even bought myself a phone. I remember when I was in college, I didn't even have like a phone. Like I used to have a button phone, and okay, from time to time I would have some second hand phones, and they would break down anytime. So I was consistent. I had like a button phone. I was in college. When people go to like the ile Wi-Fi base, and I would never relate like with anyone else. Oh, people are going to the Wi-Fi base. I would not even stand there, because what am I going to do there? So the first time I'm buying myself a phone is it's in 2019, and I remember the first time we were paid like the first installment. I was given like we were paid like 35,000, because I was a clerk, data entry clerk. We were paid like 35,000 like for the first installment, and they gave us cash, and they made me mad for the first. They made me mad, and I went crazy. That is the first time from after school I'm handling a lot of money, and it's money that I have worked on. So I bought my first phone. I'll never forget. It was an Infinix Hot 10. I even have the box. I never throw these things away. Like if some things are so close to me, they're so dear to me that I just hold on to them. But I'm letting go of that spirit of holding on to things. So the job came and went, and then at some point I have no job again. After that I went to my cousin in Mombasa, and I spent there like a whole month in Mombasa. Like my mom told me to just go, because at that moment I was taking care of my family. I love taking, if there's something that gives me so much satisfaction, is taking care of my family. And when I can't do that, I feel so helpless. I feel so helpless when I can't be there for my family. So after that, I was so there for my family that my mom sent me to Mombasa to one of our relatives, and I spent a whole month over there, and then came back to now start thinking of looking for another job. I became a secretary at a construction company for my uncle for like close to 1.5 years, and after that, now it's when I came back to Nairobi. Remember, now it's 2020, around July. It's COVID year, and things were not the same in the country, in the world, and I was not the same as well. I was going through a lot, like emotionally, physically, and I only had one option, and that one option was coming back to the city. I have always felt like my purpose or my destiny is somewhere close to this city that we all love, and I had no other choice but to come back here. I came back here. I remember 2 years ago, I had a place, I had a house, a Mabati house. I no longer have the place, I no longer have my household items, so I'm hosted by a friend. I start life again. A few months later, I rent out a place for myself, and my life begins there. At this moment, I don't have a job. Actually, I don't have a job. But by the time, a few months later, I get a job at a hotel, and that's the time when I actually find a place and start living by my own. So things start falling in place, and I have this relation. I'm in this relationship. I'll not talk about my relationship journey because that's not the beginning of my relationship journey. I'll not talk about my relationship journey in this video, but I'll have to hint on this relationship that I was in with this guy that I met back in 2017, and we started a relationship around 2020, and I really had to go through this. I really had to be I don't regret anything in life because I believe everything happens for a reason. To me, everything happens for a reason. So I have now my hotel job, which lasts for like 1 year. It was good, but I wish I had someone who would talk to me about saving, like things that I'm learning, like things that I've come to learn, like this moment. I wish I learned them back then because it's only now that I'm learning of saving. And back then, when I was in that hotel job, when I was getting so many tips, I was a cashier, and I was getting so many tips. Like there was a time like I would get even like close to 5,000 in a day. I was getting so many, like so much, but I didn't know how to invest. And mind you, at that moment, I started having like financial problems because I don't know what happens. I don't really understand what happens because at some point you feel like there's a gap here when things like these gaps in these moments where there are these gaps when some crazy things happens and you don't even understand uh, when they start to begin, but you only start to realize when things are much worse because I found myself in so many debts, and mind you, at this time, at this time I'm in a relationship, and I told you I'm not going to talk about relationships in this video, but before I was in this relationship, another one had just ended like a few months ago, like less than 3 months ago, and that was tough for me. And a few months later, I'm in another relationship with this guy that I had known for a while, but we only used to talk like online because this is someone I met on Instagram, and then later on in life he became like so. It was a relationship that I was supposed to have because I feel like at the completion, like at the end of this relationship is not when my life began. This is the moment when it's like we have these people in life who come into our life for a reason and for a purpose, because I was so hurt when this relationship came to an end because I was going through a lot. I was after now this hotel job, at some point I broke down a lot. I had a mental breakdown, like I've never had that, like such kind of a breakdown in my life. And this moment, the job is gone, the relationship is close to coming to an end. I don't have a job. Okay, I'm financially, like I don't know, I'm financially depleted. I don't know what to say, but at this moment I'm not at the right space in my life. And the guy I was in a relationship with, it's only the other day I was telling my friend that I actually understand him. I understand he was where I found myself in not long ago. He was in a growth of space and I was not there yet. So I actually understand why the relationship came to an end, though it was so painful. But before I broke down, that moment I called my mom and I told her about the things that was happening in my life. And my mom has always been that one person who will always believe in me, whether I'm helping at home or okay, a parent is a parent. She'll always be there for you, whether you are helping at home or not. And that was my mom. I feel like this whole journey of myself would be much worse if I didn't have like that support from that wonderful woman. And so when my relationship comes to an end and I'm left like financially, I don't know, I'm in so much debt. I don't have I don't have a person like I can talk to. Like I used to have this person who I can tell like how the day was, how my day was, and all of a sudden I don't have anyone. Like I can't talk to my mom at that point because I think also a lot was happening back at home, and now I feel like I'm left all alone. That's the moment I started knocking doors again, and I found myself working in different places. I found myself in a casino. I found myself cooking for students, UN students, like Kikuyu campus. I used to cook chapatis. I used to cook chapatis for these guys. And cooking for students, I mean, you're cooking like so many packets of flour, and that's actually a lot of work. And I remember I was just telling my friend the other day, like my friend Diana, we were talking about, we were like revisiting the moments where we used to go through a lot, like when we look at ourselves at this moment and remember like a few years back when a lot was happening in our life. We are actually grateful because we are not where we used to be. We are not, well, we actually I was so thin. I even looked malnourished. I was also going through her pictures and the pictures we used to take at this moment, and we have come from far. So at this moment now, it's actually like 1 year when I started the journey of healing and self-realization and my own independence, like not having to depend on anyone. Now that's the moment I start finding myself when I started living alone, and when if you have a problem, like you have no one to look up to, like you're the last person. You see, like the way there's a chain, like let's say like back at home, like you're a child and you're looking up to your mom, and your mom maybe is looking up to your dad, and now your dad, now he's the head and he cannot look anywhere else unless you look up to God. So I was at that point where like I'm the last person at the chain. I'm at the top of the chain and I have nowhere else to look at. I'm just myself. And so now this is the journey where I start to understand the the space where my last guy was at, and he was at a space of growth. And when I start understanding this, now this is the moment I start healing, and I start looking for the same growth, but in my own way, like in a different way. I start understanding myself, and when you start understanding yourself, you start healing. When you start dreaming again, that's still a process of healing. And you hold less grudges, you hold less baggages and less burdens. And that's the moment now where this podcast begins. Like it gets now that's the moment, like that's the birth of this podcast, where I start thinking like a lot it's happening in my head, and I'm living alone, and I don't have somewhere to like, I don't have, when I don't have someone to talk to, like I'm talking to myself. But I feel like deep down, I feel like whatever is going through my head, this is something that I should be communicating with someone, or I should be having this audience where I'm sharing these thoughts with people, or we're having conversations with people. And that's the moment I start listening to podcasts. And when I start listening to podcasts, I start to understand how people think. I start to when I watch podcasts just to see how other people think, and their flow of thoughts. Because if there's something I love is listening to people's thoughts. I love listening to people, and when I listen to something and it's familiar to mine, I only get motivated to do something like that. So I started getting motivated to have a podcast and having a space where we can have interactions with people, and that's how this podcast, we give back to this podcast. So at around 2022, now that's the moment where I got this job that I am employed right now, and this is something that we're not going to talk about right now. We'll talk about it some other time, but I've had my fair share of joy and maybe sadness, maybe pain and growth, all of which are they are must. They are things that I was supposed to experience, because I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be here right now if all these things weren't happening. But the vision I have for this podcast, I want us to have like people collaborating with people. To We can't only rely on my own insight, my own thoughts. I would love to have like a interaction with different people. Like, for example, like I've had help in this channel. We are going to have a guest, a friend of mine, like two friends of mine. The moment, like, this was the birth of this video. I was supposed to start a podcast, yes, but I had been procrastinating a lot about this podcast. And just the other day, when I thought I'm close to 30, I'll be celebrating my 28th birthday very soon. Not my 28, Jesus, I'm getting old. I'm close to 30, and I'm here lying to you all. So I'm this close to 30, and so the other day I was thinking of doing a vlog of something related to that, and I talked to a few friends of mine, and I had a feedback of two of them. One is in Kenya, the other one is in Canada, and the two of my friends, they agreed to be in this segment. We'll have the rest in our future segments, but two of them didn't want this space to be so much crowded, because I had to introduce you had to understand me first and also understand two of other of my friends. And so we'll have Maurice and we'll have Moses in this podcast, but they are going to be virtually. I asked them a while ago if they wanted to be part of this, and they actually they were so happy to be part of this. So we'll be having Maurice. Maurice is a friend of mine who I think we met online, and I normally tell him I don't remember the moment when our journey started, like when we became friends, but he has been very instrumental. He's someone I look up to. Like there are these people who you look up to and they don't even know. I look up to people who I see like the courage they have in rebuilding their life, and like you see, like, life can really do a number on you, but the strength to come back at the top when life throws you back there at the ground, that is something that I love to see, and that is something that I am inspired by so much. And Moses is a friend of mine. We met at okay, we have been friends for almost a decade, like close to a decade, and he is one person who really believes in me. You see, like for you to be my friend, then there are so many ways of you becoming my friend or being someone who is important to me. And one way of being important to me, or things that attract me to a person most, are like someone believing in me. Like, now this guy is I talked about working in a casino at some point. So this guy referred me to that casino, and I told him I'm not good in mathematics like that much. But he told me, I know you need this training and you need this job, so I believe that when you go there, you're going to do it. So he believed in me. He believed that I could, so I did. And these are people that I hold so dear to me, because They are rare. They are rare to find. So we are going to be having Maurice, we're going to be having Moses, and I am very sure that their story is going to encourage you so much. I'm very sure you're going to pick something, one thing or two from them. So enjoy.
Hey guys, how you doing? Naitwa Morris, and yeah, this is a beautiful morning where I am by the time I'm recording this video. And yeah, thank you to Terryn. She requested that I kind of do a short video, maybe telling a short story, or not a story, but what drives me in my life, what makes me keep my life rolling. And yeah, I accepted the opportunity, and that's why I'm here today. I just gonna do a short one. And for me, it's all about hope and determination. Those are the two things that have been driving me through my life. You find being determined and having hope together, man, you end up getting whatever you want. Like for me, that is a strategy that works for me. You find whenever I have a hope and I get determined towards what I want, I always end up having it. And also another thing, the third thing in my life is God. I put God, I put hope, I put determination. And those three things are the key highlights of my life that have made me get to where I am today. And well, another thing is I never run away from my challenges, from the problems that are coming along in my life. I always try as much as possible to find solutions for the issues that they are coming along my life. And the best thing is when you learn not to run away from your problems, I think you end up having a good life. You get maybe you're a person, you wanted to get into a 2-bedroom or a 1-bedroom this month, and for instance you never got the finances or a way to help you or to facilitate you shift to that 1-bedroom. So for me, if that fails, I won't find it as a failure, but I'll keep on finding a strategy and more solution to solve that thing. If it needs me to work more hard, to look for more side hustles. And another thing is, I never believe that there is no side hustles, man. I never believe in that. You find especially in our age group, you find there are most people who are kind of in a comfort zone, man. Okay, yes, we went to campus, we keep on saying that there are no jobs, man, but there are things that you can do. Like for myself, to be honest, whatever I studied, it's not whatever maybe I'm earning through today. It's because of my side hustles, because of the things that I can do. I have like 4, 5, 6 things that I can do. So if this one fails today, tomorrow I can hustle with this, and through that I keep on earning. Another thing is the zeal to find more knowledge and to keep learning. Like whenever I find an opportunity to keep learning, to add to learn something new or learn something like a skill, I always take that opportunity very serious. Whether it's a short one, it's a long one, and there is an opportunity for me to get that, I'll go for it, straight to it. That is what we call determination. Again, it's about strategies, man. This life, you cannot just move. You cannot just live without strategies. You have to make strategies. You have to make sure that you are kind of you are making at least the moves you're making, you are strategizing. You're not just moving blindly. You cannot just say tomorrow I want to buy this kadudu, this cannot. You have to make a strategy. You have to evaluate. You have to kind of assess the situation, the position you are at that particular time. So for me, it's all about determination. So it's all about the strategies that you make. It's all about the hope to keep moving, and the hope to get there where you are. People say that the hope is dangerous, but it's not. When you see it positively, when you have the hope, that hope plus determination plus God in it, oh man, you'll get whatever you need. I'm not there yet, but I believe someday I'll be there also myself. So thank you so much, guys. And I'm Waweru Morris, and you can find me on my socials, Waweru Morris, on every social. So thank you so much. Have a good time, man, and be wise. Make right strategies. Go for those skills whenever there is an opportunity, and keep moving. Thank you. Adios.
Good afternoon, or good morning, or good day, wherever you are watching me from. My name is Moses Kimari, and a friend of mine, a dear friend of mine, told me to speak to you about my life. And it's funny because every time I want to speak about my life, I get a little bit emotional because there's not much that I can say about my life, because I'm thankful. I'm really thankful, and I don't have a particular word to explain how thankful I am, or I don't have one particular reason to be thankful for. And that's actually it's a very amazing feeling that you have so many things that you are happy for and you are thankful for, but you cannot pinpoint one particular reason that you are happy. My life have been hit with so many challenges that I sometimes I feel emotional when I talk about them. And I remember, as many of you, when the COVID hit, people lost their lives, including me. I lost like everything. And when I mean everything, I lost everything that I hold dear in my life. And it was tough. It was tough. It was the most of the toughest 2 years I have been in my life. And what can I say? Life can hit you so hard that you have no idea what to do. Like, it will give you challenges, and it gave me a lot of challenges that even today I don't want to think about some things that happened that particular time. But at the same time, it gives you challenges for you to rethink about your future. It gives you challenges for you to really see what have been important for you. It gives you challenges for you to reinvent yourself, and that is rare. That is very rare. And when the life gives you a second chance to rethink or to reinvent your future, it's magical, because some people crumble or some people fall from these downfalls, and some people look at it and think it's just sleeping around, then you just pick yourself up. And it took a lot of strength to do that. Maybe that's what it takes for you to rejuvenate yourself. Maybe it takes everything that you got. Maybe it takes all the strength that you have in this world to have everything back. And funny enough, when you put yourself, or when you put too much strength in recovering what you have lost, you may find yourself even recovering what you lost, and even more, coming out more than you went under. And it's funny enough, because that's what happened in my life. But the journey of until today is not that simple. It took perseverance. It took a lot of patience. Because challenges came to my life, and I lost hope of there's one thing somebody said to me, and she told me that until you are thankful for what you have, you'll never be happy with what you want. You have to be thankful first to what you already have for you to get more. And you'll ask yourself that, how does that happen? Because you may feel, or you may think that you have everything that you want, or everything that you need in this world, until you go out there and see people struggling. It's so amazing how much you think you know, and how much you think you really know. It's different, and how much it is out there. There was a time that I walked from town center to Banana. That was the longest distance I've ever walked in my life. And it was at night. It was like 12 midnight. And that particular day, it was that time when there was curfew, the time for the terms of COVID. And I remember I didn't have money to pay for the bus fare. It was 30 shillings that particular time. And I remember I didn't have even 30 shillings to pay for fare. And what I went to town to look for, it bounced. And I had to stay in town because the curfew was allowed 11. So I was hoping maybe I can find somebody maybe who can give me a ride, or maybe any conductor that I know. Maybe I will tell him maybe or her that I'll pay him or her back when I get home, in which I knew that I didn't have money at home. And I walked. It reached a particular point that I could not even walk with my shoes, so I took them off. And I walked barefooted, and that particular day I remember when I got home, because I have bruises all over my feet hurt, and I remember the work area, this where the police were having a barricade, and when that cop saw me walking, because he could not even think, because I was walking in the middle of the road, and he could not even fathom of what this guy is doing. And I just told him I want to go home. That was the only thing I could tell him. I would just want to go home. And he looked at me, and I think he knew what I was going through. And he just told me, just go. He asked me where I'm going to. I'm going, and I told him I'm going to Banana. And he asked me whether I'll be walking there. I told him yes, I'm gonna walk there. And I walked, and I remember that the following day was crazy. That day was crazy. But here I am now, in beautiful British Columbia. One of the things that I never thought that would happen to my life, it will never happen to me, and it happened. In my 42 years, I'm turning 42 by the way, I did know that this day will come, that the day that I fly out of my country, it will come. And it did. After 42 years, after 41 years, after 41 years, that's what I get opportunity to fly out of my country. And the first time I tried, actually, it was a month before I was coming here, and I reached the airport. I was turned back, and I was told no.
So, thank you so much, my lovely audience, for being part of this podcast. I can't do this alone. So, if you really enjoyed this segment or this episode, please let me know in the comment section. Let us interact in the comment section, and I would really love to see what you're going to tell me in the comment section, something that you'd love to see or something that you'd love to see in our next podcast. I'll still be bringing you so many vlogs because I enjoy creation, like I enjoy documenting. So I'll still be bringing you so many vlogs, but this is something that I really wanted to do because I am at a stage in life where I want to say I want to do something and then I actualize it. I don't want to procrastinate anymore because this is a journey that would have started like 1 year ago, and yet we are just beginning right now. And one thing I'm going to tell you, whoever is watching this video, I don't know who needs to hear this, but whatever you want to do in life, don't wait until the moment you have like the actual resources that you think you need. I believe you actually have everything you need to start whatever you want. So if you need to do something, you strategize about it and you actualize it. The most important thing is actualizing something. It's not even strategizing. I have come to realize the most important thing is it's actualizing, because while you actualize, it's like you start living that dream. You stop dreaming and you start living that dream. And so this is us starting to live our dream, believing that one day we'll have like a studio that I actually wanted. I actually wanted to have a studio, a very demure, a very cutesy like background or studio where we can have these beautiful conversations. I would love us to have so many people giving us their flow of thoughts or being part of this journey, and understanding okay, we get motivated by listening to other people's stories, because you get to understand that you're not alone in this journey, and you at some point you even get away like you like you get like a pathway to follow by following people with similar life experiences as yours. So this is so good for me. Like I feel so good so long as I put it out there, I actualize it. This is heaven to me. I feel like I've actually accomplished what I ever wanted to do. So if you really love this podcast and you really loved our guests, let me know in the comment section. I am going to see you in the next podcast, and we are also going to create another video. So let me know what you want in the comment section, and I'll be waiting. Thank you and bye bye. See you in the next. I have been your host, Terry Wangui. Bye bye.